Hi, everybody, and welcome back. It's me, Julia Flynn-Worry, and my co-host.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katerina Garcia, but you're welcome to call me Kat.
Awesome, and we are so excited. This is part 2 of our meet and greet session. We're talking about our exciting favorite product, Euphoria, and nutrition, and how we're going to go do some calls. So I promised everyone I would do a follow-up to our last video and talk about tracking. So I had been explaining to Kat that when you go, you might want to have somebody with you that can kind of support you and keep you lifted and elevated. But that person is also your secret weapon for tracking everywhere that you've gone, because success loves speed. So the faster you move, the more you're getting done in a short period of time, the better it is. So your biggest secret weapon is going to be your cell phone, because you can record all of your visits directly onto a voice recorder or text yourself. Yep. Or any kind of plan like that you can do. I also like the app called CamCard. Have you ever heard of CamCard?
No, I have not. I'm writing it down now.
Okay, Cam is like camera. C-A-M, CamCard. And with CamCard, and I'm not even sure if I have it pulled up at this moment, but yeah, there it is. CamCard has the little CC logo there. I think there's a free option. What I can do with CamCard is I can snap a photo of the business card, front and back, and it'll go right into a database. And because we need to be able to get back in touch with these people quickly. So you go, you do the visit. You talk to Raquel. She referred you to Mary Beth. Dr. Johnson is the person you want to speak to. And you're holding all that in your brain. And you got to do a brain dump. You got to do a
write it down.
Dump. Right. So back in the day, my mom would always be the person waiting in the car in the hallway. Yeah. And then later it was my sister Laura. It's tough because if you're going to do this for a full day, that means the other person has to have a full day.
Yeah.
My mom did, but it's hard to find somebody that would do that, right? So fortunately for you and me, we now have our cell phones and we can do that way. So that works great. The other thing that people have really suggested over the years is to have affirmations already set up the night before and on your earbuds, so that you can keep those affirmations in your ears and in your brain as you go through the day, that you're awesome, you're doing great, you look great, you feel great, this is a good thing you're doing, you're taking care of yourself, you're, all of those good mental images as you go through the day. So I have a book that I keep everything, and I keep all of it track of. So can you read any of that? Is any of it?
List 7, list 6. Is that what they're saying? Like list the numbers? Okay.
And across the top, I have a bunch of different columns. I don't know. Can you see what those?
Email, call. It's kind of going fast.
I'm sorry.
Text, week, meet, mail, email, call. Okay, so it's the 4.
Right. Yeah. So I added in other stuff, but what I do is I create a chart in advance, and I create a list, and that way, along the side, I can put the date that I'm going to go and do those things. So I plan in advance.
That's awesome.
Truthfully, you're really only going to want to do meets as a person, as a human, probably once a week, once a month, probably not every day. I got to the point where I was doing this 11 times a month, and it became very tiresome physically. And that was a long time ago, but with 11 visits to do in a month, it was a lot. You want to be bright and enthusiastic, so you want to keep that energy level up. So whatever works for you, give it your best shot, and just think value and quality, not quantity. And that's really where we want to be on this. But if you have a list like this in advance, where you know what your goal is to do and how many you want to do, this kind of productivity is really going to help you maintain it. And I can show anybody or help anybody create that. Then you're also going to have your daily activity plan, which shows you what you're supposed to do every single day, and you can incorporate that into your daily activity plan, because this has your follow-up phone calls, your follow-up social media, all of that on here, and you
Wow,
can keep that going like that too.
that's genius.
That's actually Tina Malsum, and she has a video about that and shares that. This is a book this is a sheet that kind of follows and mimics the concept of of what we're doing here. You could put the doctor here and then the dates of the activities across
Okay.
and any results, so that you can track it all in one sheet. Make sure that you're doing all of that follow-up over and over and over again.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is consistency, like you said in the last video. Like you want to make sure that you're doing all of those things and all of those steps. And it doesn't matter, I'll be honest with you, what the interval is. So if you go and do a meet and you do the call 5 days later or the following week, and you do the mailing the following week, and you do the email the following week, and you're going to do a week interval, keeping it consistent is probably the most important thing. But the holidays always come up. One of the things that's interesting about this is when I do this chart, like if I do it for a full calendar year, I do have to bear in mind the 4th of July, Memorial Day,
Mhm.
national holidays when people aren't going to be around. So that helps as well. But it
Yeah.
gives you this power, like, oh my goodness, I have power over my calendar and my schedule. And you've got this forethought, and you can really see how things are going to build and grow.
Yeah.
So that's truly exciting. So as far as a reporting tool goes, you come out of the office, you've got all that information, do a brain dump either on paper, cam card, in your cell phone, to your mom, like I was doing, and she was writing everything down. But just write down as much information as you can, so that the next couple times that you go back, you have all of the information. I'm sorry about the horde of dogs that you hear. That's my dogs in the other room. They're all babies, and they're being very loud.
Loving babies.
So yes, puppy babies. So
Yeah.
that's really important. And I wanted to oh, here's the protocol sheet. Sorry. Here's the protocol.
Nice.
There it is. The last thing that I think I usually share with people that they want to know is, who should I call on, right? Like, who is it that you're calling on? And that, I would say, I try to do a brainstorm for certain vertical markets in my head, so that I have a plan in place of what I want to say, so that no matter who I encounter, I have that in my head. So if it's a doctor's office, what am I saying? If it's a dentist office, if it's a gym, or a Krav Maga studio, or a kickboxing studio, what am I going to say? Like, in your mind, fantasize who you're going to be talking to and what the benefits are for that person.
Okay.
Secret weapon for me is the top 10 questions that you think they're going to ask, or that they have asked you, written down in a booklet, on a piece of paper somewhere, and the top 10 questions they should ask you.
So top 10 that they will, and then top 10 that they should.
Bingo.
Okay.
I did that this morning. I had somebody who asked me a question. The question was, so what do you have as far as data, specific data of an impact of the person using nutrition? And I thought, that's a great question. However, every human is different. 1 in 400 million people will have the same nutrition, so you and I are not going to have the same results. It's just not going to happen. We don't have the same things going on in our body. We're not the same age. We don't live in the same experience. Whatever. So I told him that. I said, but what you might want to know is that the ingredients that we have, what people say the benefits of those ingredients are, the benefits of vitamin B, vitamin D, turmeric, curcumin, folate, cat's claw. And so that was the question he did ask. And then I gave him the question he might want to ask. So
Gotcha.
kind of moving those things around. Okay, good. Anything that I could tell you, that I could share with you?
Well, and I mean, this may be something that's specific to those that are just starting out and have, the individual that they were referred here by, right?
Right.
They constantly are saying, if you have someone who has questions, refer those questions to the individual in charge of above you. And that works better, I think, for more like social media based reachings out, because then you can just literally forward, have a three-way call, let them handle it. But when it's in person, it's kind of a completely different environment. It's a different animal altogether. So
Oh, you just did two amazing things. Those are so juicy. I'm excited that you asked me the question. Okay, first and foremost, three-way calls, rock star move, right?
yeah.
So if everybody wants to learn about the three-way call, maybe Kat and I will do another video another time.
Yes.
Three-way call Passover. That is genius. Somebody asks a question. Hold that thought. Let me get my counterpart, colleague,
Business partner.
person on the phone, right? Let me get my guy on the phone. That's the first thing. The second thing that you were talking about is what was the second part you said that got me so excited? Now I've totally lost my train of thought. You said, what do you do if the person asks you a question and
then you reach out to your individual to get a three-way call to then help resolve that question.
You said, what do you do if they're in person? How do you manage that if you're in person?
The difference, between the two.
So you've just given me the perfect segue into my tagline, which is sales is a series of next steps. The whole point of any of this stuff that we're doing is to have one more reason to talk to them.
Okay. Kind of leaving them hanging on for more. Okay.
I'm begging for them to ask me a question I can't answer. I might even say, I don't know the answer to that today, but I'm going to get back to you even if I do.
Yeah.
Because that gives me the segue to be able to bring in a third party expert.
Yeah. And that helps too in more ways than one. I mean, you have someone else who can help answer a question, help solidify, that connection with that individual. So then they're a part of your team as well. But I think one of the biggest parts of that, and I've had individuals ask me something and I say, you know what, that's a great question. I don't know, but you know what, I'm going to find out for you. And then what happens is you go and you find out and you come back to them and they build so much trust in you. Because it wasn't like, oh, they forgot about me and what I asked them. It was, they actually went out of their way to find that resolution and came back remembering me. So that's wonderful.
I love it. It's just 100%. That's exactly right. I think that's just the best thing you can do for somebody is have a reason to reconnect. Mm-hmm. For some reason, that first encounter or that initial encounter is built upon by a follow-up encounter, which is why I build in so many touches, right? And I'm saying, like, don't just do that one touch, go back and do more touches. Mm-hmm. So when they say, hey, can you tell me a little bit about how long does it take for the product to come in? That's an excellent question.
That is.
I know how quickly my product came in, but I'd really like to get information about how it's running today, because how it was running when I got mine might be different. Let me get back to you on that. I'll write that down in my notebook.
I'm a big believer in notebooks.
People love it when you take notes about what they're asking you.
I'm a big note taker.
Feel important, right? Yeah, that's exactly what I want to find out for you. And if they're using the same shipper, I mean, might be a perfect question, might be always the same, but what a great reason to go back in and extend that conversation and relationship.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Last question I've got, at least just for this video, and this is just particular about the visits. Do you recommend going to practices of individuals that you know personally already, or is it best to start off with people that you don't know, and then that way you kind of get your feet wet in that circumstance?
This is totally opinion, what I'm about to share.
Okay.
So obviously everything I've given you today has been opinion, but what I'm about to say, I don't know if I'm opening myself up to a barrage of different opinions. So I tend to think about this as I tend to think of that famous carpenter's son. I don't know, not everybody knows who I'm talking about, but some people do. There was a carpenter's son who had this big story and told everybody in his neighborhood, who were all of his family and friends, and they didn't exactly agree with him. But when he went and told people that didn't know him, they heard everything he said, and we still have that story today. So I'm a firm believer that people who I don't know, I am much more capable of getting their attention, having them believe me, listen to me, and hear me, because they
Mhm.
don't have a prejudice about who I am or what I've told them in the past or who I am. So they
Yeah.
seem to be more open minded, and they seem to be able to hear me with open ears. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody to hear me with open ears. Not only that, if it's someone that I don't know yet or someone I haven't talked to yet, if I make a mistake, I don't have this feeling of, oh God, I blew it. I'm like, okay, well, I burned through that one. I'll go meet somebody else. So,
Exactly. Okay.
with all of that precursor and all that preamble, it's kind of one of those things where I feel like it might be easier to start with people you don't know.
That's what I was thinking. Awesome. I love it. Thank you
Good.
so much,
You,
Julia.
you are so welcome. And I'm so grateful to you. You are such a great co-host. Great questions, great information. I know this is going to be fun for you and exciting. And I know that our viewers are going to want to know more. They're immediately going to write to us and say, tell us what happened. So tell us more. So
I look forward to sharing.
right. We're definitely going to do that. And we're going to set some goals together. And Kat, thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to doing this with you again. And you
Me
guys
too.
look for both Kat and I. We are both with Euphoria. We are nutritionists.
Yep.
We can answer your questions or find out from a person who knows more than us,
Yep.
because that's what we do. Thank you
Yes.
all so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.